I've owned the Steam Deck OLED for about 6 months now, and this thing is still too good. It's been around 3 years since the original Steam Deck dropped and about 2 years since the OLED model came out, and I'm still in love with this thing. On paper, it's not that impressive when you compare it with other handhelds like the ROG Ally or the Legion Go. Actually, those handhelds run circles around this one in terms of specs, faster chips and higher resolution displays, but there's a reason the Steam Deck is so popular right now. I mean, just look at the design and ergonomics of this thing. It looks beautiful, it feels premium, and that OLED screen is insane. Deep blacks, vibrant colors, and super smooth gameplay. It's honestly one of those devices that just makes you want to keep playing. Valve did a really good job designing this. The shape, the button placement, the weight, it all feels right. You can tell they actually thought about how people would use it every day, not just about how powerful they could make it on paper. In terms of performance, the Steam Deck OLED isn't rocking the most impressive specs anymore. It's not going to compete with something like the ROG Ally or the Legion Go when it comes to raw power, but honestly, that's not what this thing is for. If I want to play heavy AAA games like Marvel Rivals or Cyberpunk, I'll just jump onto my PC. The Steam Deck though, this thing is perfect for everything else. Like when I'm just chilling on the couch or in bed, I'll fire up Risk of Rain 2 and it runs beautifully. It's smooth, responsive, and the OLED screen just makes everything pop. The colors are vibrant, the blacks are deep, and even older games feel completely new. When you're playing something like Risk of Rain 2 or Hades, or even the new Silk Song, the visuals just glow on this display. One of the biggest upgrades with the OLED model, and one that you really notice day to day, is the battery life. The original Steam Deck could struggle like a tiny bit depending on what you're playing, but the OLED model is just super efficient. It just feels solid and refined, like Valve took all the feedback people had about the original model and upgraded it. The lighter body, the better grips, the quieter fans, and that bigger battery, all of it adds up and you really notice it. One thing that the Steam Deck is perfect for is playing those games that have just been sitting in your Steam library for years. We all have that massive backlog of stuff we were meant to play but never actually did, right? The Steam Deck finally gives you a reason to go back and experience them, and the OLED model makes it even better. I've been playing games on here that I probably never would have touched on my PC, like smaller titles or games that just feel better on a handheld. I started playing Lego Batman on this thing, and it actually runs super well. It's smooth, it looks great on the OLED screen, and it gives you that nostalgic feeling, like you're reliving those childhood games, but in a way that's portable. And speaking of nostalgia, the Steam Deck is honestly the perfect machine for emulation. It handles so many older systems effortlessly, and it just feels right playing those classics on a handheld like this. Lately, I've been playing some of my all-time favorites, the old PSP games. There's something about replaying those old games that just feels different. Games like Tekken 6 or Medieval Resurrection just run beautifully on the deck. Super smooth, great performance, and the battery life is great. If you're playing emulated games, you can squeeze like 10 hours battery life out of this thing. I mean, just look at how good the coloring and display look on the OLED screen. It's seriously stunning. I was a huge fan of the original PSP growing up, and had some of my best gaming memories with it as a kid, but somehow the Steam Deck makes those games look even better. And that's honestly kind of crazy, because the PSP already had this unique look, but seeing those games on this OLED screen with the deeper blacks and unique colors just makes them pop in a way I never imagined back then. Alright, moving on from the nostalgic stuff, let's talk about something a bit more modern. I've also been playing a few newer AAA titles on the deck, and honestly, I'm still blown away by how well this thing handles them. I've been playing Marvel Rivals lately, and it runs surprisingly well on the Steam Deck OLED. Yeah, sure, you're only getting close to 60 frames per second, but honestly, it's still enjoyable to play in a handheld form. I'm getting decently stable frame rates, and it looks really good on the 7-inch OLED display, and the controls feel great. I was worried at first about playing a fast-paced competitive game like this on a handheld, but the joysticks and triggers are super responsive and comfortable for longer sessions. So yeah, whether it's nostalgia through emulation or the latest AAA releases, the Steam Deck OLED has handled everything I've thrown at it so far. I'm still impressed every time I pick it up. So after using the Steam Deck OLED for about 6 months now, I can honestly say it's become one of my favorite devices. It's powerful enough to run AAA games, perfect for emulation, and that OLED screen just makes everything look incredible. I think right now is actually the perfect time to buy one. The OLED version fixed so many of the small issues people had with the original. The price has come down a bit, and the library of supported games keeps growing every week. Whether you're into modern titles or just want to relive some nostalgia, This thing really does it all. Anyway, that's been my experience after half a year with the Steam Deck OLED. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel and keeps me motivated to make more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.